Welcome to the Midweek MindSHIFT episode of the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Everybody, we're continuing. It's a midweek. It's time for a mind shift. Future you, say hello, baby. Let's hop into it. All right, my friends, this is the continuation of the Midweek MindSHIFT series, and we have covered a lot on these. We kind of took a little break during the Christmas holiday week, Hanukkah, and New Year. We didn't do them because obviously I knew downloads and listening would be a little shy during the holidays as everyone was traveling. So right now we're still in the thick of it, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehashing what we've talked about previously. They're all on the playlist right below you, and you can easily figure that out. But the idea here is, most of us are stuck in a mindset, and we hire the mindset coaches, right? And we work with the self-help books and the self-development, and we do all the reading, and start nailing them, right? Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, just Mel Robbins. Let's stay on the Robbins family for a little bit, right? We go through Brené Brown, like everybody's reading all the books. And we're hoping that what we're going to do is over time change our mindset. However, what we've realized throughout this series is it's not necessarily about a mindset. It's actually about a mind shift. It's not about changing your programming from your present position. It's actually about getting a new script and changing who you want to be from a future version of you. Again, not going to go all the way into it right now. Those episodes are in the notes below. You can listen to the entire Mind Shift series, but we've been talking about the 5 steps to actualizing this future version of you. 2 versions of you out there, right? A future you want to avoid, and a future you that you want to become, the idealized self that you want to actualize into the world. And in this series, we have started with talking about the 5 steps of actualizing this version of future you. Really quickly, step number 1, you start by visualizing it. You have to see who you want to become, right? We're doing this next week, by the way, as part of our Future You 5-day program. It's a 5-day challenge, 30 minutes a day. Let me express that again and stress that again. It's only 30 minutes a day. You can get in with us 5 days, Monday through Friday, 30 minutes. You can find out more about it, but you're going to learn how to build this future you script that I'll be talking about in just a little bit. You're going to learn about all your typical triggers and emotional things that keep you locked in the loops of your current mindset. And I'm going to teach you how to adapt beyond all of those triggers and all of those things. So those 5 days are going to be power-packed. It's $55, y'all. It ain't very much. Get on it while the getting's good, right? FutureYou5day.com, FutureYou, the number 5day.com. But we're talking about these 5 levels in here, right? So number 1, you visualize it. You have to see it. Number 2, you have to feel it. You emotionalize it. Visualize, emotionalize. The third step here, and this is where we're going to really sit, there's vocalize. So visualize, emotionalize, vocalize until you internalize, and then you can begin to actualize it. Those are the steps of the process. Last week, we kind of talked about the first layer of how to vocalize things. We talked about your power script. Again, we're going to develop that here at the Future You 5-Day Challenge. But the power script is an important thing. I think in tomorrow's episode, I'm even going to mention the power script when I talk about Coach Jeff. You'll learn a little bit more about him in tomorrow's episode. But this idea, visualize, emotionalize, vocalize, then we internalize it until we actualize it into our world. That's the 5 steps of saying hello to future you and getting a mind shift to become a different person. Last week, we really unpacked the power script. However, the second layer is what we're going to unpack today. And a better way to maybe say vocalize would actually to use a term that might be interesting for you. It's called autosuggestion. Now, autosuggestion is one of those things that's really intriguing because a lot of people have talked about it for a while. I first learned about it when I read Think and Grow Rich back in the day from Napoleon Hill. That was one of the first places I learned about autosuggestion. I learned about it a little bit in some NLP, neuro-linguistic programming stuff that I read and studied. Tony Robbins briefly talked about it in his book, Awaken the Giants. I'm trying to remember all of these off the top of my head. Bob Proctor has talked about it in his paradigm programs. Just keep going, right? All these people talked about autosuggestion. Maxwell Maltz, in his seminal work called Psycho-Cybernetics. Crazy good. Maybe we'll link that too in the show notes below, along with the MindShift series for you. But it was this idea that every time I read it, I kind of glazed over. I got to be honest with you. I was like, autosuggestion. It like didn't land. And even when I reread Think and Grow Rich just 3 years ago, it didn't land. I was like, what? I don't get it. I don't fully get it. So you're just suggesting to yourself automatically, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And I began to figure it out just about a little over a year ago. I kind of put it out there and I'm like, I'm going to figure out what this auto-suggestion is. Have you ever done that in your life, right? Where you're like, okay, I have to figure this out. And you kind of put it on the back burner of your brain to just kind of simmer. You set it on low and you're like, at some point that's going to come to a boil and I'll be able to put my noodles in there. That's kind of what I did with autosuggestion. I read about it. This book, that book, the other book, so many books. Everybody was talking about this idea, autosuggestion. And I was lost. I just didn't know what it was. But it's an important part of the process of becoming future you. When you say hello to future you, autosuggestion is absolutely crucial. And I would say it might carry more weight than just a power script. So many of us are taught to develop the vision board, right? That's self-help 101. Vision board. Oh, I see the car. I see the house. I see the trips. I see the meals. I see the relationship. I see the money. I see all the things, right? We get our magazine clippings and put those all over the place. We do that. We do the vision board. And then we're like, and I'm good enough and I'm smart enough and doggone it, people like me and yada, yada, yada. And all the Stuart Smalley SNL daily affirmation things. That is a good part of the power script. And I've talked about that again in other episodes of this. But here's where autosuggestion comes in. I'd rather you think about it like micro messaging or microdosing your brain. Did he just say microdosing? Uh-oh. Careful. We're not talking about that kind of microdosing, okay, people? I mean, whatever if you do it. That's not a problem. I'm just saying, when I say microdosing your brain, I'm not actually talking about with mushrooms or any psychedelics or anything like that. Again, good for you. Bully for you if that's the way you do it. Autosuggestion is a different thing. It is about micro messages that we're constantly sending ourselves. And we're going to break that down because I'm going to expose to you how you're already using autosuggestion. When I figured this out after reading all of these books, when I finally figured out what it actually is, I was like, holy cow, this is huge. And then I started paying attention to how I was already doing it. And I was already running autosuggestion in the background to my own detriment. And that's what we're going to talk about is we're going to reveal to you a little bit more about what this microdosing your brain is and micro mindset moments for yourself. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about how you're already doing it, maybe to your own detriment, as soon as we get back. But first, let's just talk about our sponsors really quickly. If you are a business professional and you're looking to lose 25 to 50 pounds of that stubborn belly fat over the next 90 days, I want to tell you about one of the programs from our sponsors, the Shed Fat Fast program with Joel Staley. Joel has helped over 1,500 clients lose all of that fat, get in the best shape of their life, and he does it with a proprietary fasting protocol that's guaranteed to get you results without giving up the food that you love. I know it works because I'm in the program right now, and I'm telling you, this thing is getting me results. I know it can get you results as well. He's got a free training for you. Go to shedfatfast.com. That's shedfatfast.com. Check out his free training. And when you call in, be sure and mention that you heard about it from the Dallas Daily Show. Hey, everybody. I just want to give a quick shout out to our studio sponsor here at Neighborhood Loans Studio in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're in the market for a new home, look no further. Their 5-star team is excellent. They can help you get what you need. And I can personally connect you with their team, or you can check out their website, neighborhoodloans.com. Again, that's neighborhoodloans.com, or feel free to call them 314-658-9400. Again, that's 314-658-9400. And even though the studio's located here in St. Louis, Missouri, they can service you nationwide. So trust me when I say you are in the best hands with Neighborhood Loans. All right, let's get into this idea of microdosing your mindset of the small mini messages. So I finally heard someone say it in a way that made sense to me. They're like, basically, Dallas, you're hypnotizing yourself. Autosuggestion is self-hypnosis. I was like, I don't know what you mean by that. Until I realized what it was, though, and I was doing it already. So what's happening with autosuggestion is you are sending yourself now 1,000 mini messages, thousands of mini messages every day. You're just not necessarily aware of it. It's kind of like it's all under the waterline of your conscious self and your subconscious self. And all of this stuff is just all of these currents that are going in the cold water stream and the warm water stream and all the stuff that's occurring in there. But you're the one that's actually setting the currents and you don't even know, or you're being carried by them and you don't even know. So this idea of self-hypnosis, let's use working out as an example. Many of you probably did the resolution, right? Again, if you want to know the difference between a resolution and an upgrade, listen to a couple of weeks ago. We did a whole week on upgrading for the new year and the new you. But this whole episode, by the way, Taylor, I'm just plugging my own stuff at this point. That's really all this is. We promised, by the way, she's getting a microphone. You're going to start hearing her voice more regularly. Right, Taylor? Right. All right. Kind of off camera, we heard her. All right. So she said I can't put her on camera, but all right. Back to this idea, self-hypnosis. Let's use weight loss as an example. So Vocalize level 1. You built your power script, or you're going to build it next week when we do our Future You 5-day challenge. So you're doing, there it is, another self-plug. All right, so you built your power script and you said, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm physically this, and now that I'm mentally that, and spiritually that, and financially here, and all the levels, right? And you're pumping yourself up with this big old power script. And you're really excited about it. And like once a day, or maybe you do it at the beginning of the day to jack yourself up. And then maybe you do it at the end of the day to be like, all right, here's my gratitude practice. I'm grateful that all the relationships I need and all the success I need is being attracted to me. All the things, right? I know that sounds woo-woo, but a lot of us put in place some kind of power script to pump ourselves up, to believe this version of who we are becoming. Here's what happens in the small little hypnosis that you're doing, the microdosing that you're doing, all right? Again, let's go back. Let's use working out as an example. Pretend for a second that you have this big old scale, like the old justice scales. They're weighted, right? The two sides of the scales. All right. Once a day, you put this big 10-pound weight aimed at the future version of you. This 10-pound weight of like, here's my power script. And it's like, ding, and it weighs down, right? And that scale sits all the way down there. Big old power script for you to say every day. And it gets you pumped and you're moving in the right direction. And you tell yourself, I'm so grateful that I am fit and I am healthy and I love working out. That's in your power script, one time a day, big 10-pound weight. But then what you do is you put a little 1-pound weight over on the other side of the scale that's like, but I don't really want to get on my shoes and go to the gym this morning. I don't like waking up early. Another 1-pound weight. A third 1-pound weight. I don't like being sore. I really don't feel like eating clean today. Do I really have to? And what happens over time is you're giving yourself all of these mini messages. And that big 10-pound weight that you put over on the scale, I don't even know what to do with this boom right now because it's in the way of my arms. So that big 10-pound weight that you've got on this side is slowly coming off the ground and lifting up. And what's getting more weight are all the mini messages that are negative that I don't like being sore. I don't like that after leg day, I can't sit on a toilet, right? It's all the little things that we send ourselves. And eventually the scales start to turn. And what was once the big weighty power script is now being outweighed by the 10, 20, 30,000 negative little things we're saying to ourselves. Oh, I don't like the way my shoulder feels. I don't like this. And it's usually met with or a sigh. Maybe old school, you give it an alas. Alas, I have to go to the gym again. And what we're doing is we're weighting the other side of the scale with all the small micro messages. And then we're surprised that we're back on the old side of thinking, the old mindset, the old trigger belief behavior cycles. I did so well for 3 weeks on going to the gym and working out and doing the thing in my power script, but then I was a little sore, or I was a little tired, or I didn't want to wake as early. And we find ourselves weighting, WEIGHT, weighting the old scale until we're back in the old cycle, back in the old loops of triggers, beliefs, behaviors, back in the old mindset. But what might be possible for us if we could change the microdosing that typically is negative, and we could begin to not put all those little mini messages on the scale that draw us back to the old, and instead, what if we could start mini messaging in the right direction to add weight to the power script? So instead, like when you're sore, let's say, again, sticking with our workout routine. Once a day, I love working out. I'm so happy to be fit and healthy. There it is. We put that big 10-pound weight over there. And instead of putting the little mini weights of, I don't want to, I hate being sore, and we outweigh ourselves, what would happen if instead we took those little negative messages off, those little micro messages, those little auto-suggestions that we're already doing toward the negative? What if we started writing little micro messages to add to this same side of the scale? Oh, I'm sore. That means it's working. Oh, a little micro message on the 10-pound weight. I put a little 1-pounder on there. Oh, wait a second. I love putting on my tennis shoes. I love the drive to the gym. Oh my gosh, there's some deer. This is why the drive to the gym is so much fun for me, right? Oh, I love when I'm starting to breathe heavy. That means it's working, right? Ooh, I love the way that eating clean makes my body feel. Boy, I'm not feeling sluggish anymore after a heavy meal. Instead, I'm feeling great. You see what I'm doing here? I'm starting to load up new positive messaging on the same side of the scale. And what happens is once that begins to occur, then I'm actually auto-suggesting, hypnotizing myself, microdosing my mindset onto the new trajectory of who I'm becoming. Say hello to future me, and I say it again and again and again and again. Now let's take this away from, working out, and let's go into all the other things, right? We tell ourselves, I love my children, and I love that my relationship with my children is great. They called my name again. What else do they need? When are they going to go to bed? Why is my teenager always frustrating me? And we send ourselves all these little signals. Are we at all surprised when that relationship's not working out? Take it to your spouse or your significant other. Oh my God, I love them so much. We're going to have such a rich future together. That was a horrible impression of talking about my wife, by the way. But then if all of a sudden I'm like, when she does this, it bugs me. Why does she always say this? Why is she always nagging me? And then I just weighted my relationship to the negative. Financially, it works, right? We talk about the 4 quadrants. I've already given you access to the Visualize script, which is kind of the first step in the 5-step process. There's 4 areas of our life. Again, you can listen to those below. 4 areas of our life: spiritual, physical, relational, and professional. What if we actually started fixing all the micro scripts, all the auto suggestions, all the small little vocalizing that we do that's currently negative of the way we are spiritually, our internal, external world balance, of the way we are physically, the way we eat, the way we like nutrition, the way we love working out, mobility, exercise, fitness, right? all of those things, if we quit weighting the words on this side of the scale, spiritually, physically, nutritionally, mentally, emotionally, relationally, with my spouse, my children, my coworkers, oh my gosh, we could unpack what we're saying to our coworkers or about our coworkers. Here she comes again. Oh God, what's he going to complain about this time, right? Anything that starts with a or a sigh or an alas or a, oh boy, an eye roll, huge indicator that that's a negative autosuggestion. A sigh, huge indicator, right? An ick, an ugh, an any of those, huge indicators that you have the wrong autosuggestion. So my challenge to you is to bring awareness to what you regularly are vocalizing. I think we covered this a couple of weeks ago. The average person has like over 50,000 thoughts a day. 95% of them are repetitive. And of those 95% repetitive thoughts, over 80% are negative. We are I don't know why we added a chicken sound effect there, but we did. And we're going to go with it. That's our chicken sound effect. We are thinking a lot of the same old stinking thinking, ladies and gentlemen. And it's because we have hypnotized ourselves into robotic routines of trigger belief behavior. And we're calling it that we need to change our mindset. I'm telling you now, we don't need a mindset change. We need an actual mind shift. The future version of you speaks a different way about health, wealth, relationships, all the stuff, right? Spiritual, physical, relational, professional. The future version of you hopes in a different direction. The future version of you believes in a different direction, speaks in a different direction, feels in a different direction, and behaves in a different direction. So what might be possible for you if you would say hello to future you, get a mind shift, begin to think, act, believe, and behave like the version you want to become in the future, behave like that person in the present? What kind of awesome transformation could you see if all of a sudden you were like, one time a day isn't enough. I'm not just visualizing. I'm not just emotionalizing. I'm not just one time a day vocalizing, but all the time I am sending myself all the right messages. How quickly could you move to the next step, which is internalizing the future you? And we're going to talk about that in next week's Mind Shift episode. But until then, my friends, you know what you do. Listen to the whole series below. Rate and review the show. Obey what my kid says here on the outro when he tells you to go to the Dallas Daily Show website, all the things. My friends, may your mind shift and may you have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to DallasDailyShow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.